Hey everybody, welcome to this episode on SoC-TV. My name's Joslin, and today I'm going to show you how I make dream catchers. On today's episode, I'm featuring two of my paintings, the first of which, on my right, is called Fairy Fly. The second one, which I thought kind of had to do with the Dreamcatcher theme a little bit, is called Chief Peace. Those are the paintings of the day. Before I get started, I wanted to talk about some of the history behind Dreamcatchers. So Dreamcatchers became popular in the early 1900s. The tradition started in the Ojibwa tribe and then was also adopted into most other tribes as well over time. A traditional Dreamcatcher is made on a willow loop, which represents the circle of life, and it is woven with a web that catches your dreams. So to the Ojibwa tribe, spiders are like symbols of comfort and protection. That's why it's a web. Your bad dreams stay caught in the web until the sun rises and burns them. Your good ones, they trickle back down the feathers into your brain because you're supposed to hang dream catchers above your bed. I'm going to show you in this video how I make dream catchers. This is not a traditional dream catcher. One day I hope to make one with real traditional supplies, but for now this is the Walmart supply list. If you live in a town or a city that has craft stores, you should take advantage of that and you could get some really cool stuff. Here's what you're gonna need. So this thing came in a pack of 3. It was like cheap, so you're actually not even gonna need both pieces. So like this is kind of ghetto, I guess, but it's gonna work. You'll want a pair of scissors. We've got feathers, ruler, some sort of cord. I'm using hemp today because this is really cool looking and I wanted to use it. You could use wax cord probably if you want to have the easiest time. Copper wire, that is silver. I'm going to be using ribbon to wrap the outside of the Dreamcatcher to make my life easier. You could also just use hemp cord if you want to get real serious about it. It just would take a really long time, especially because this is a big loop. This is a bag of beads that are just kind of random. I'm going to look through them, see if I want to use them in my Dreamcatcher at all. You can get really symbolic with what you decide to incorporate into your Dreamcatcher and decide what, different things mean and use certain gems or stones, certain colors, Scissors, pliers, preferably needle nose, X-Acto knife. This is actually the first Dreamcatcher I'm making on a wooden loop, so it's kind of going to be an experiment for me as well. Usually I've used like metal loops, but I couldn't find one at Walmart. That's why I got creative and found this. I also found this 98-cent bag of beads, which are green, which I thought would go nicely with the color scheme I'm trying to create.
To start off, decide how many ties you want in each loop of your web. I'm doing 8. Mark them evenly distanced apart on your loop. A rough estimate usually works just fine. Now I'm using an X-Acto knife to cut little triangle slots into my loop on the places I marked. This will help the cord stay in place as I start to web it. Now pick a starting point on your loop. Tie your cord to it and leave at least 6 inches of excess for you to hang your Dreamcatcher from later. Work circularly around your loop, tying your cord to each next slot as you go. Once a full circle is complete, continue the same process, only this time tie your cord to the center of each next strand on the outer layer of the web. Work the same method until you are satisfied with the size of your web.
I just learned something. I guess it's not something I haven't learned before. Don't be like me with your string. You should just keep it organized and be a little more careful when you're weaving it through. Or else you're gonna have to also be like me and undo it all and redo it. It's coming along nicely so far. One thing that I've heard about dream catchers was that there's supposed to be like a mistake in it, and that's what catches the nightmares. This is really, I'm excited. I actually really like the way that the wood works for this. I think that it might be what I continue to use in the future. I'm just gonna take it and wrap it around my fingers again. Wow, that's getting tight. Hope I can get it off. Back in business. Alrighty, so we've gotten to the point where we can start putting some beads on. So I'm gonna decide. I know I want to use these green ones because those are cool. And if you're buying beads, it can be really annoying to have to squeeze a tiny ass bead onto a string. Usually the bigger beads are better. Aww, I love this charm. Or this is cool. This is why I'm looking through here. I also just like these wooden stars. I think those are nice. I could just do another wooden loop in the middle, which might actually look really nice.
I waited until this point to add beads to my dream catcher, but feel free to add them to yours as soon as your heart desires. To do so, simply tie a knot on each side of your bead and continue weaving your web.
Alright, so I just finished putting the beads, and I had this cool idea of putting this other little brown circle thing that I happen to have in the center and taking this green string and tying it out around the edges. I'm actually gonna try that and see how that looks. In my mind, it looks pretty cool. That's what I'll be doing next.
Now I'm adding a second layer to my dream catcher. I'm going back around my loop, marking and cutting slots where the cord in the new layer will be tied. I'm loosely tying the cord in place before I go back and add beads. This ensures that I'm placing the beads where I actually want them to lay. Once I'm satisfied, I tie the cord more tightly. Now I'm prepping the leftover cord to be used as where the feathers will hang. I do this by tying together the pieces in the locations where I want them to hang. I tie the top two to the original piece I left out to hang the dream catcher from. If you don't add a second layer to your dream catcher, you can just tie the cord straight onto the loop in the areas you want the feathers to dangle from.
Alrighty, so far we've gotten the web done. I've added all the beads, and I've gotten the strings that I will be hanging the feathers from all ready to go. This is, of course, where you're going to hang it from. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to start wrapping around the outside with a ribbon. Sometimes people will do the wrap and then the web. I prefer to do the wrapping around all the ties and stuff that I do because I'm pretty messy. And so that kind of just makes it look cleaner. So I get all this stuff done first. That's what I'm gonna do next. But it's coming along nice. I like the green and the orange together a lot. It makes me happy.
I start by tying the ribbon at my original starting point and make sure to leave at least 6 inches of excess for later. I continue by simply wrapping it around and ensuring that the ribbon lays nicely as I do so. Once wrapped completely around, I tie it off and trim the leftovers.
So, we got the ribbon all the way around the sides. Next part is adding the feathers and beads on the stringy things down here. This next part is pretty fun. I just want to pick out some of the greens and the oranges, in case you couldn't tell. That was kind of the color scheme I chose. I really like them together.
This part is usually the most exciting for me. Trim your cord to hang down at the levels you will want your feathers to hang. Keep in mind that feathers can add quite a bit of length. String on desired beads and when ready, tie feathers to the ends. Go back in with pliers and wrap a piece of wire over the feather where you tied it on. This ensures it stays in place.
This is what we've got going so far. I've added the feathers and some bead stars. I wanted to use the holes on them were too small for me to fit the string through, so I just cut off a little piece of wire and kind of like wrapped it and made a little loopy decoration thing. I think I'm gonna try and string a few more down in between here. It makes me really happy to look at. I just have a few more feathers to go on each side, and then we'll go from there. This has been a learning experience for sure. I've got some fun beads, so I've been kind of just poking through and just picking and choosing some to add. So we are nearing the final stage. I've got everything on there that I wanted. I think that might be one of my favorites. The last thing up here, I'm just going to make a loop with this ribbon that we can hang it from. And so I'm gonna to do, but I like to add little beads on these little strings and have them hanging down as well. Just, I don't know, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do any of the things that I say. I'm not your mom. I knew so many stupid things to say until I had to just sit and listen to myself talk. We are almost done. Yeah. That's so much fun. Yeah. Alrighty, everybody, that's it for today's episode. We got a lot of work done today. This is the final product. So this will be hanging over my bed in just a few minutes. And it will be catching all of my dreams, making sure that only the good ones get through. I hope that you learned something in this video. Hopefully it inspired you to maybe consider making a dream catcher of your own. It's kind of a fun project. If not, you can always just have one custom made by me as well. I really do enjoy making them. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I will see you next time on SoC-TV. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. If you have any ideas for future videos, let us know. You know, you guys are the people watching, so let us know what you want to see.